to Jeremy Stubbs, President of the British Conservatives here in Paris. Thank you very much for joining us here on France 24 today. Now, Boris Johnson has been hemorrhaging support in the past 48 hours. Are you amongst those who can no longer support the Prime Minister?
Well, I don't think it's a question of whether I can support him. It's a question of whether the elected representatives can, and they obviously cannot. And once they cannot, it doesn't matter really much what anyone else thinks. You might say, well, does he have great support within the party? I doubt it. We are in a situation where it is obvious that he has to go, not just for the sake of the party, but for the sake of the country. He's not in a position anymore to govern, especially in what is a time of crisis. The real question is, who is going to take over from now on? That is what is focusing people's minds next. And of course, we wait to hear whether he wants to try and stay on as caretaker or not. It would be very ill-advised of him to attempt to do so.
Indeed, because a lot of questions remain up in the air until Boris Johnson speaks. Regarding him staying on as a caretaker, can he be a legitimate caretaker prime minister, given that so many people in the Conservative Party have abandoned him in the past 48 hours, including just this morning, Nadhim Zahawi, the man who he picked as the next finance minister?
No, he can't. He cannot legitimately do so. In a sense, once he resigns as leader of the party, he thereby resigns as prime minister and would only be allowed to remain in that position on the, shall we say, toleration of firstly of the Queen, but also of the MPs at Westminster. And it's unlikely that that will happen.
Sir Doug Herbert here. Just curious, the leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer, said in the past few hours that Boris Johnson will be remembered for lies, scandal, and fraud on an industrial scale. Whether or not you agree with that statement, what do you think his legacy and his impact on the Conservative Party and its image will be once he goes?
That's going to be difficult to evaluate. He's somebody who started off in a very heroic position and has tumbled way down to the bottom of the hill, as it were. And we may have a new view in 10 years' time, who knows? But there's no doubt that the party and the country are in a very, very difficult position at the moment. And that is at least partly his responsibility. And the question now is, who cares about Boris Johnson? What are we going to do next?
Question, sir. Where does Boris Johnson go from here? Is he politically finished?
Yes.
There's no surviving. There's no coming back from this, in your opinion?
No.
And who would you like to see replace the Prime Minister?
Well, that's a question in two parts. There is who would be elected one day as the new leader, or who would step in to his shoes straight away. I would say that the interim caretaker needs to be somebody who has general trust, but is not considered to be somebody ambitious and thrusting for promotion right now. Which limits, I think, the number of figures. As to the future, I think it needs to be somebody who is very, very different from Boris Johnson, somebody who has other qualities, but not sort of an excessive, charismatic
So
figure.
give me a name.
Well, I've got lots of names in a hat here, and I'm going to keep them for me just now, but there are a few there.
Jeremy Stubbs, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Thank you very much for watching.